Tennessee football was top 5 in spring game attendance this year. This, despite the fact that the big news that happened the day of their spring game was Nico Iamaleava entering the transfer portal. We all saw that happening. And the belief that neither of the quarterbacks playing in the spring game would actually start. So, truth be told, Tennessee, top 5 attendance in the spring game, that's pretty incredible, honestly. Was it a big deal or no big deal? That's the poll question. We already have it up. Tennessee being top 5 in spring game attendance is a big deal or no big deal. That leads us to 4 downs because we're going to talk about the 4 schools that were ahead of Tennessee and why they may have been ahead of Tennessee and what this means. Because, look, there are some questions about being in the top 5 and if it actually means anything at all. But remember, Tennessee did charge for the spring game. So to have 38,192 people attending the game is actually a big deal. So let's get started now. 4 downs. It's brought to you by Ted Russell Ford, Lincoln on Kingston Pike. All right, so Kingston Pike and Parkside Drive, excuse me. 4 downs. The schools ahead of Tennessee in spring game attendance. First down, Florida. Florida was number 1 in spring game attendance with 56,563 people in attendance. Now, a couple of things with this. Florida had a strong finish to the season. This was their largest crowd since 2009, going into Tim Tebow's last year after they had just won the national title. Florida has a couple of things. There's a lot of excitement with the way they finished the season last year. There's a lot of hype behind DJ Lagway, even though he does have to get fully healthy. He's an exciting player. But there's also the national championship celebration ceremony for Florida as the halftime show for the spring game. So the combination of the 3 made it make sense that Florida was going to draw the most people to the spring game. Ohio State, 40,000. There's a quarterback competition, and there was the fact that they just won the national title. However, this is the lowest attendance since the 2021 spring game, which was impacted and affected by the pandemic. So Ohio State actually had a drop despite winning the national title and having a quarterback competition. 3. Now, this is an intriguing one. Michigan. Bryce Underwood was the story for Michigan, as Michigan had about 40,000 people. And Bryce Underwood is the number 1 recruit in the 2025 class. He's probably going to start immediately as a true freshman. He's a superstar. For those who don't know, by the way, Sharon Moore is now expected to be suspended for 2 games. But the talent of Bryce Underwood and the excitement behind that, excitement behind new quarterbacks is always a big deal. That brought out a lot of fans. And so that's where Michigan got the 40,000. That's why they were ahead of Tennessee too. The Big House is also a bigger stadium. 4th down. By the way, that was 1st down, 2nd down, and 3rd down. I was doing 1, 2, and 3. Before we get to 4th down, portions of the program brought to you by Ted Russell Ford, Lincoln Studios.
Like a blast from the past, the Super Dealer is back. Look to the skies, Knoxville. The Super Dealer is fighting for price, service, and the American-made. Ted Russell Ford is East Tennessee's #1 volume Ford dealer. Save up to $4,350 on a new Ford F-150 XLT, or get into a new Ford Ranger XLT with no payments for 90 days. Come see the Super Dealer today at either Ted Russell Ford location.
4th down, the school ahead of Tennessee, the final school ahead of Tennessee of the 4 schools ahead of them in spring game attendance was Oregon. Oregon filled more than half their stadium as they had 38,467 people in. Now, spring game is a big tradition for Oregon. It's kind of like a gimmicky, fun thing that they do. Part of this was they had a lot of transfers with the number 5 ranked transfer class. With a lot of people expected to start, a big depth chart upheaval, a lot of new guys coming in. Also, they were 13-0 last year before losing the Rose Bowl in their first college football playoff game because they ran into a buzzsaw with Ohio State. But there's still excitement, particularly with Dan Lanning and the way he's building Oregon. He's building it like an SEC program out west, and people love that, and people see that. So that's why they're number 4. Now, Tennessee at number 5. Tennessee at number 5. Here's what's so interesting about this. Remember, guys, the question with Tennessee at number 5, with just over 38,000 fans, which was the second largest spring game in the SEC, was the Nico Iamaleava story. Nico Iamaleava, the On3 report with Nico Iamaleava leaked Thursday night. Nico Iamaleava skipped practice Friday. That was the Thursday and Friday before the spring game. And then the Saturday of the spring game, the news broke that Nico Iamaleava entered the transfer portal. So why did Tennessee do so well in attendance? Was it because fans had already bought tickets expecting to see Nico Iamaleava? Was it because people wanted to see George McIntyre and Jake Merklinger play and how the team did after Nico Iamaleava transferred? So what was it? Did Nico Iamaleava's transfer hurt or help Tennessee's spring game attendance? That's the real question. I'm going to set that up as a poll question now. First, Tennessee's being top 5 in spring game attendance is a big deal. You guys say 73%. No big deal, 27%. How about this? Why was Tennessee top 5 in spring game attendance? Why was Tennessee top 5 in spring game attendance? Fans thought they would see Nico, or the Nico transfer storyline. How about that? Why was Tennessee top 5 in spring game attendance? Fans thought they would see Nico, the Nico transfer storyline. I think it's because fans thought they would see Nico. I think fans bought tickets to the spring game expecting to see Nico Iamaleava. And quite honestly, I think if Nico Iamaleava had not transferred, you might even see more people at the game. I think the same. Well, I take that back. Since the tickets now cost money, the same amount of people were going to go no matter what. But I don't think people bought tickets to the game because Nico transferred. I think they were going expecting to see Nico. You weren't going to glean too much from the other two quarterbacks that hadn't taken first team reps all year with the team. So with that in mind, I think that fans with Nico Iamaleava thought they were going to see Nico. And the interesting part about that is that means that Tennessee, I think their top 5 spring game attendance was authentic. Number 6, just for a few other people, South Carolina was number 6 at 36,358. Obvious, strong finish to last season. Lenora Sellers is back, superstar. Auburn, number 7 at 30,000, which is slightly below average across the last decade. Even though Hugh Freeze has had underwhelming results and been a big disappointment, the addition of Jackson Arnold is going to draw a lot of fans that were interested. Intriguingly, Washington had over 20,000 fans. Went all in on marketing the spring game while everybody else was canceling it. That's a lot, by the way, from Washington out in the Pac-12. They have a ton of experience out in the Big Ten, which was Pac-12 country, I guess. They have a ton of talent to replace on defense. They are 2 years removed from the national title game. Colorado is number 9. Colorado's number 9, 20,430. Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter being gone made people more interested in what the program's doing, plus the excitement with how Deion finished last year at Colorado, going 9-4. But then Shedeur Sanders and Travis Hunter coming back to have their jersey retired was going to draw some fans, but that was actually the smallest attendance. Excuse me, that was the smallest attendance of the Deion Sanders era. Number 10 is Clemson, 17,000 to 19,000, less than half the tally that they had last spring, but doesn't really reflect the sentiment around the program. Again, spring games just aren't the same draw anymore. Cade Klubnik returning with the strong finish to last season. You can see why there's some excitement with Clemson. Oklahoma was number 11. Syracuse was number 12. Alabama was number 13. West Virginia number 14. Wisconsin number 15. And then Louisville, Miami, North Carolina, Indiana, Texas Tech, and Arizona all were among the top 25 rankings too. Those are all the ones estimated to have above 1,000 at the game. How about that? One of the ones that stand out to me, Alabama being down where they were, which was at number 13. That shows you the spoiling of Alabama fans, man. I'm telling you, they had, what was it? They sold out for Nick Saban's first A-Day game in 2007 because they were so desperate for success and so excited, and they knew what was coming. They had 60,000 last year just for Kalen DeBoer. They're souring on him fast, and I think that's totally unfair by the way. Syracuse being number 12, though, is a different story. Them being in the top 20 shows excitement about Fran Brown. He had a spring game attendance record last year, and while there was a drop this year, I think that's, again, spring game excitement is just dwindling in general. And I think Fran Brown getting 14,483 people at the game stands out on its own. He deserves a lot of credit for that. And so remember this. Syracuse never had more than 6,000 people at a spring game before Fran Brown arrived. They know what he's building. And again, it's a big deal for Tennessee because as we know, Tennessee opens the season against Syracuse this year in Atlanta at the Mercedes-Benz Superdome on August the 30th. And there are now questions about that game because of Tennessee's quarterback situation. As far as the poll question goes, why was Tennessee top 5 in spring game attendance? 44% of you say fans thought they would see Nico. 56% say the Nico transfer storyline. I'm actually with the 44%. I think it's because fans thought they would see Nico. I don't think the morning of people thought, oh, Nico's not going to be there anymore. Let's buy tickets to the spring game to see quarterbacks who we didn't expect to see all year, who we don't think will be the starters next year anyway, and who didn't take any first team reps during spring practice. I don't think anybody thought that, guys. I'm sorry. So I think it was but that actually shows that's a testament to Tennessee fans for having already planned to go see Nico Iamaleava. They were expecting to go to the spring game.